Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. Today we're going to be talking about the free comic book day all-in 2025 Superman Unlimited Special Issue 1 by Dan Slott, Raphael Albuquerque and Marcelo Maiolo. Superman's new ongoing begins right here, courtesy of Dan Slott, who will be taking the reins of the new series, and right off the bat, he begins things with a massive status quo shift. Lois Lane introduces the Daily Planet staff to Imani Edge, the recently divorced ex-wife of Morgan Edge and new head of Galaxy Communications. Now, Imani isn't there just to make friends, she's actually just purchased the Daily Planet and plans to make it the premier go-to paper for her media empire in an effort to combat misinformation that's rife in the world right now. Now, the Daily Planet shifting to different forms of media, being owned by billionaires or familiar characters, is nothing really new. Hell, for a moment there, Bruce Wayne even owned the Daily Planet. But I like what Slott does here is that instead of having an established character come in and now own the paper, we get a cool add-on to that, which is that paper is actually going nation and worldwide, and it's being turned into, I guess, like a syndicated worldwide paper. Planet having offices around the world is such a cool idea, and it adds a fresh avenue for stories, especially because you can now have like Clark, Lois, Jimmy, all these characters going to these different cities, going to these different Daily Planet offices, kind of like changes the setting of the office a little bit so it's not always the same. Like you could have a story, of like Jimmy sent on a photo assignment to Europe or Japan or something like that, or Steve Lombard gets sent down to Central City to cover the sports there, something, angles of the Flash, something. There's a wealth of possibilities here and it's really exciting. As Imani assures the reporters that she'll be a silent partner in owning the planet and Lois will still be very much the editor-in-chief, Clark hears someone calling for help and ducks out of the meeting. Lois gets a cool moment here to cover for Clark. She doesn't make up some sort of tried and true excuse where like, oh, he's got a sore stomach or something, he just got to duck out to the toilet or something, something like that, which we've seen in the past. Her excuse is that Superman is, out saving the world and Clark is the premier Superman expert in the office. Like he's the one who follows Superman and, details his exploits for paper. So if Superman is out there, Clark is going to be out there as well. And I like that there's sort of like a double meaning to that, because yes, Superman is out there, Clark is going to be out there. They're the same person, but I also like that obviously it means he's going to be reporting on what Superman is doing. Clark changes and heads out into the city, stopping a group of intergang members from escaping the police. Superman apprehends the thugs, and interestingly, one actually thanks Superman for stopping Titano's rampage through Star City recently, since his aunt lives there and she was saved during the rampage. I kind of like that, even like thugs in Metropolis kind of still respect Superman and like understands he does what he does and they do what they do. And even Superman understands that as well, where he like takes the man's compliment. He's still going to jail, but he's more than happy to, have helped out this guy's life in some way. I also want to take a moment to talk about Raphael Albuquerque's art, as I really like how he draws Superman, giving him a ever so slightly older look than what we've seen recently, and he even looks a little bit bigger. He's more in line with something you'd see in like an all-star Superman, where he's got a big barrel chest, there's this huge S symbol that just covers his entire chest. It's a great look for the character, and I really like that it's a change of pace from the rather youngish looking Superman that we usually get from artists like Dan Mora and Eddie Barrows. Superman continues his job, saving a woman's child who's fallen into a lion enclosure at the zoo, a plane from crashing, a boat from sinking, and an apartment building that's on fire. Not all action though, as Clark gets a brief moment of himself as he's a busker in the park, giving her some money and encouraging her to continue writing songs since he loves being able to hear them while he flies in the sky. Real sweet moment that I love we can have with a character like Superman. We can have moments like this peppered throughout an issue, and it's always really nice and a great breakup for the action. Superman's peace is soon broken though, as the Justice League Watchtower contacts him, telling him of an extinction level asteroid heading for Earth. He's the only one who can deal with it thanks to the other League members away on a deep space mission. The League though are suspicious, as the asteroid made it extremely close to Earth before Red Tornado's sensors picked it up. However, Tornado knows it did this thanks to it being covered in pure inertron, an unbreakable metal that is impossible to scan for. I love the tension Slott builds for this asteroid, as all of the heroes find it rather suspicious that this is happening. Like, someone obviously sent this asteroid to Earth. But Clark does the most, knowing that the metal isn't actually meant to show up in this sector of space until the 31st century, meaning someone did indeed send it this way, and it might have time travel consequences, since who else would know of this metal that's meant to, exist in thousands of years. The neat little tease for what no doubt was going to be the big overarching mystery of Slott's ongoing. Superman knows that he can take it down, speeding headfirst into the giant asteroid, which he easily smashes through, finding that only a micron's worth of inertron was actually covering the asteroid, with the actual bulk of the asteroid being made up of pure kryptonite, which begins weakening Superman as thousands of shards and pieces of the radioactive rock begin raining down on Earth. So for a few years now, kryptonite has been kind of like rare earth. It's meant to be like a rare earth element. Like, not many people have access to it. If they do, it's usually like busted out in like a third act of a story or something. So I kind of like that Slott is kind of doing the opposite here, where now kryptonite is going to be in mass quantities on Earth. And obviously, even, day-to-day thugs might end up with some of this stuff just floating around now. So I'm intrigued to see what he's going to do with that now, because obviously with it just covering Earth, it kind of makes like Earth a no-go zone for Superman. Like, he can still go there, but it's very, very dangerous for him and his family. So it sets up this really cool story, not just in terms of like, oh, there's now more of this thing that can hurt Superman on Earth, but like, what's the drama with like his family? Do they have to move somewhere? Do they have to leave the planet? What's going to happen with these characters? I just can't wait to see what Slott has in store for Superman and his family. For a free comic book day issue, Dan Slott's opening story is a must read. It does a lot to set up his upcoming book, the status quo shifts he's doing, and the ongoing mystery. I assume what we read in this book will actually be covered in that first issue, but here he does a great job of just setting it all up in a really simple, concise way, but all these different, elements kind of meeting together, with like the Daily Planet going worldwide, Kryptonite being all around the Earth now. So there's like so many different variables for really cool stories that we actually haven't seen in either a long time or actually haven't at all. So I'm very much excited to see where Dan Slott is going to take the Superman family. Now you can grab this free comic book day issue at your local comic book shop, or like what I did, I got a digital version from Amazon. It's completely free, so it's kind of a win-win here. You get a free comic book and it's a damn awesome one. I'm going to give this issue an 8.5 out of 10.